Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An RH negative mother carrying an RH positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every RH negative pregnancy.
Well then, hello and welcome to The Outside View, brought to you by Women's Cricket Zone and presented by BSV, Puma, Food and Wellness and MRI Hospitals. We all knew that it wasn't going to be a cakewalk for Pakistan, considering the strong bowling unit of South Africa. And of course, it's not over until it's over. By now, I'm sure you guys must have gotten used to the close games. Well, we have seen quite a few so far. Coming to Dane first, your thoughts on the final over. I heard the commentators say in the mid of the game that probably Dane would be on the edge of her seats. Was that the case? Just talk us through that.
Sorry, just repeat the last part. I didn't hear what the commentator said.
During the mid part of the game, like when Pakistan were chasing, I heard the commentators say that Dane was probably at the edge of her seats, considering how the game was panning out. So talk us through that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was flicking through the channels. I don't know. I knew I was going to have to speak about the game, but I thought, no, I can't watch this. So I found myself flicking back to the game every other second. But yeah, I couldn't watch. Yeah, I just mentioned to you guys, I'm getting too old for this stress. You know, I'm glad I wasn't there because I probably would have lost it. So I'm glad I'm in my house shouting and going crazy.
Coming to you, Marina, your thoughts on how the final over went. Just your first thoughts on the game.
Sorry, there was some distortion. I couldn't hear you.
So your thoughts on how the final over went. Just your first thoughts on that.
I mean, it couldn't get any closer. It's been a couple of games with South Africa, even South Africa as well. They've been testing our nerves, and like Dennis said, we're getting too old for this. But yes, it's a brilliant game of cricket as always, and I'm sure that both teams in the middle would have felt the same.
Definitely. And this time, Dane, you were spot on with your prediction. Like Marina and you, both of you said that SHABNIM Ismail probably would be the pick of the bowlers, like overall all-round performance. But then the first breakthrough, Ismail, as you predicted, will do well, gets the first breakthrough for South Africa. And then the big wicket of Bisma Maroof, who looked amazing in the last game. How happy were you with that? And how do you sum up Ismail's bowling? The power play probably belonged to her, didn't it?
Yeah, look, we said it. So yeah, Marina, we maybe know a little bit of cricket. But no, she's been incredible and such a competitor. You see there at the back end, you know, that incredible running catch. You know, she's that fiery type of character. She always wants to do well for her team, and you know, that again, it's just an example of she wants the ball, she wants to make a difference, and she did just that. Yeah, I think the tactical awareness from Sunay and SHABNIM to have that short catching for Misbah, you know, that was a game changer in my opinion. So yeah, very good, and I think those two wickets just put Pakistan on the back foot a little bit and stemmed the flow of runs, and I think that's what found them wanting at the back end.
Pakistan definitely once again was struggling to get that 50+ opening partnership. Ismail just too good with her lens today, Marina. Just another day at office for her.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's very hard coming up as a batter against her because at one moment you might think you're dominating, but she can do her homework really quickly and adjust and then come up with good pace and hit the right lens. I mean, it's an ideal outswinger deliveries you've seen. And like Dennis said, brilliant captaincy and execution from Sunay and Ismail to get Bisma out, because that was a crucial part. Because when Bisma's in the middle, she actually knows how to chase the target down with a certain maintained run rate. But yes, getting rid of Sidra Amin, that was another good delivery, just pitching it up in the right areas on the surface. It was expected.
A word on Suneli's captaincy, Dane. She used the bowlers for smaller spells in the beginning. What do you make of her captaincy in today's match?
Yeah, I felt like tactically she was a lot better today than the first game, but I think as well, I think it was just the first game jitters. I mean, it's the first time captaining in a World Cup, so you could kind of let it slide for that one game. So it was really good to see her coming back tactically and making really good decisions for the team. Yeah, and also as you mentioned, just small. I think just the using them in small bits and pieces just doesn't make the batter settle. So yeah, no, I think she had a great game today, and just nice to see her being proactive as well and not as reactive as the first game. You know, she kind of made the plays and didn't wait for it to happen. So yeah, that it was a very good sign for me. And as I mentioned, that I think the first game was just a bit of first game nerves and rust to get off.
So let's just quickly have a look at the scorecard to see how the things panned out during Pakistan's chase today. So obviously South Africa were good with their bowling today, and Nahida Khan with that 40 and a good knock there by OMAIMA Sohail, Nidadar of course. So coming to you first, Marina. First, I'll ask you a question about Khaka. She was introduced early on in today's match. What do you think was made Sunil take that decision to just sort of carry the momentum that South Africa got in the initial stage? Can you hear me, Marina?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So I was just telling that I wanted to know from you that Khaka was introduced early on in today's match. So just about that move, so as to, was it a case to just sort of continue the momentum and apply more pressure on the Pakistan bowlers, batters?
Definitely. I mean, with SHABNIM grabbing two crucial wickets, and then it's a sort of a phase where the batters like to settle down in and rotate strike every now and then. And that's exactly what I mentioned in pre-match as well, that Khaka, obviously, with the sort of fielding and field position South Africans have, it's never easy to get off her and not easy to score runs. So that's exactly what she does. And whenever a bowler is attacking the stumps with a good field setting, it's not easy for just to go for the boundaries or even to rotate strike. So it does add kind of pressure, especially if the opposition is chasing. Up front, they were two down, and then that kind of actually dried the runs for, I think, a couple of overs for Pakistan as well. But yes, good, resilient batting from OMAIMA and Naida, I think. But yet, that sort of things added and actually affected the back end of the innings for Pakistan.
Also, thoughts on Marizanne Kapp's bowling today, Dane. That contest versus Nahida Khan initially, and then the important wicket of Alia Riaz that could have changed the game. It made a big difference to the game. Probably one who panics last wins the contest. Her spell today was the testimony to that.
Yeah, look, it was good to see her when she came back on. I think, obviously, I know her really well, and she looked a bit annoyed at the start. I don't know if she wasn't too happy with her lines and lengths, but I thought she moved the ball really well. And when she came back, what the impressive part for me was that she still swung the ball at the back end, and I think that was also the defining factor for that wicket. Is the ball just left Riaz a little bit. Obviously, it was a bit too close to cut, but just the fact that it moved a little bit. And that's what she can do. And that, again, it's the quality of her. She's one of the best all-rounders in the world, one of the best bowlers in the world. And in these situations, you want them to step up. And it was nice to see, a SHABNIM and a MARIZANNE stepping up in these situations because, that's the people we bank on most of the time. And especially your seniors, you want them to stand up. And it was just nice to see them, stepping up and also, again, MARIZANNE's bowling. It's nice to see her coming back and doing the job as well. I think she'll be a lot more happier after this game than she probably would have started. I think she would have been hard on herself with the bat.
Love to see the intent that she brings to the pitch. Of course, we have now started talking about Nahida Khan. To continue that, in a way, initially she unsettled the bowlers by using the crease well today. Your thoughts on her innings today, Marina?
Well, that's the thing. What she does, I mean, once she gets settles in initially, then you would see a lot of her moving into the crease, going on the offside, coming down the track, and that was actually required because, as we were talking earlier, that with that consistent line and length, you have to do something different to come out of that trap South Africans just knit around you, and that's exactly what she's done, and she's been pretty good at it. But it's good to see her back in the contest. She has a good run She always had a good run against the South Africans. She likes to stay on the back foot. She likes to cut. But yes, I think that should be just the start of her, this tournament. A lot is expected from her in Pakistan's point of view.
Of course, reviews today were clearly with South Africa. Nahida Khan departed when Ayabunga Khaka sent her back. The partnership breakup bowler for South Africa, Dane, just Marina gave us her thoughts about her. But after the wicket of Nahida Khan, the momentum came towards South Africa, and then probably she strikes when the team needs her the most. And Kapp looked extremely happy with that wicket. All smiles in the camp. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, again, it was crucial, and it's nice to have those partnership breakers, and she did just that. So, yeah, very impressive, and again, if you come on, that's what you want to do, and it's just nice to see, picking up their hands and doing the job for their captain.
Definitely. And about OMAIMA SOHAIL, Marina, you said in the pre-show that with the bat will be a crucial, she'll be a crucial factor for Pakistan, and there she was, 65 runs. What do you make of her innings in today's match?
Well, I'm really happy for her because even today she hasn't played to her full potential. I think what she did was to just forget about the initial innings, the two games, and then come out with a positive intent. The footwork, I think, was more decisive. Her approach was clear, and still she held back. But I think that she actually knew her strengths and wanted to work it along the innings and build in another good innings. And I think that it was really important for Pakistan for her to step up. We were talking about the top order been struggling, so Naida and OMAIMA both getting some runs were a good sign for Pakistan. But still, I think she got out. 11 runs were already made in that over. That actually changed the whole course for Pakistan. Had she been more patient and walked through and made sure that Pakistan crossed the line, I think the results would have been different.
Yeah, and obviously in the first match against Bangladesh, we saw a little bit of South African side struggling with the fielding and all. But when the match was at the knife edge, one positive or improvement that we saw today, probably from the South African side, was comparatively a lot lesser extras that they bowled today as compared to the game against Bangladesh. So, what are your thoughts on that, Dani? And what are the positives that the South African team will take from here? Obviously, batting unit is batting stability and batting consistency would be a bit of a concern, but the positives that they would take from this game, because they have to play like England, Australia in the coming days.
Yeah, I think that is a positive. I think the positive thing about this is you want to get over the line in these crunch matches. You need to be in these situations to learn from it. So I think that is the one positive. And also, as you mentioned, the extras, it was better. That's a good positive. And also, again, it was again a very good performance from the bowling setup. I think the batters are putting the South African bowling unit under pressure, unnecessary pressure with the performances of late. So yeah, I think as a whole, I think just the bowling should be the bowlers should be very happy with their performance. I mean, 220. It's not the easiest of scores to defend, but I mean, I assume that the batting lineup had a lot of faith in the bowlers. So for me, I think that is the main positive. Is just the bowlers still getting the team over the line. But I want to see the South African batters, not put the South African bowlers under pressure as much as they have in the last two games. It's not fair on them and their bodies and the workloads.
Definitely, considering their workload and on, spot on with that, Dani. Of course, about Nida Dar. Marina, because she scored a half century today, would be disappointed on not getting the team to the finish line, but experience, she has a lot of experience under her sleeves, and that reflected in her innings today.
Well, definitely she will be disappointed, and so will be the Pakistani dugout. But I don't know, I think that her approach was a bit more defensive. She came in around 29th over. She took her time initially, and by the time she reached 50, it was just 1 6 and 1 boundary. That's not her style of batting. While you're chasing, you cannot go around about 7 overs without scoring a boundary. So I don't know what mindset she had. Probably she was trying to keep herself in the later end. But again, good opposition, good bowling lineups, good fielding sides. They will not allow you if you reach up to 8 or 7, 9 or 10 per over, they will never allow you to get across that line. So I think that Pakistan did probably lost a bit of track in the middle overs from 29 to 35, 36. There were overs like 2 or 3 run per over when Nida especially was out in the middle. That's not usually the side for Pakistan and for Nida. I think at the end she probably was too one-dimensional. We've seen her playing a lot towards the offside as well. She is the one person who could have actually took Pakistan home, and I think she will be disappointed, but I'm not sure as how she panned out that chase, given the fact that she has the potential to hit the boundaries at will. So yes, 50 to her. Obviously, she's turning out to be a good all-rounder for Pakistan, but I think that she'll be pretty disappointed today for not making Pakistan win this game.
As an opposition, Danny, if you would have been in that position, if you'd be playing that match, what would you make of Pakistan's innings, their chase, the way it went? They have quite a few experienced players in their side, but the batting once again let them down.
Yeah, look, Marina was spot on. I think the middle overs, that's where it cost Pakistan. OMAIMA has batted really well, but she got 65 of 104 balls. If you change that, if she got 80 of 100 balls, that's a difference. So, striking at under 65, chasing, even though she batted well, it's just the strike rates, and I think the rotation of the strike, in the middle part, and also just the intent. Even in the last 10 overs, it just didn't look like there was intent of scoring those boundaries. And again, Nida Dar, she's such a good striker of the ball. So it just looked a bit, she just looked a bit out of character, And I also think if the batters are in, they need to make it count. And they had inevitably three set batters in that batting lineup that could have potentially won it for them. So again, Marino was spot on. It's just I just want to know what the thought process was. How, what was they thinking? How are they going to win the game? What was the thought process?
Definitely. We, of course, to our users who are watching this, you can just ask your questions in and we'll definitely get it answered by our experts. We have one question here. Vasant asking, South Africa bowling is the key and it is better for them to bat first and defend than chase, since South Africa have done well defending low scores. Your take on this strategy? Danny, of course.
Yeah, look, we said that, I mentioned it now, that the South Africa has been very reliant on their bowling attack, and again, it's not fair on the bowling attack that the batters aren't coming to the party. I'm not saying that they have not, but certainly at a World Cup, you can't rely on that. You can't think that 220 is going to be enough all the time. Bowlers are allowed to have bad days. So yeah, I think tactically, yes, it makes sense if South Africa wants to bat first all the time and get the bowlers to defend, but they're coming up against very strong batting lineups now in the next 5 games. I mean, they're heading into, I guess, the business end, and also if you would say that probably the top 4 teams in the world. So 220 is not going to be enough, and I think tactically South Africa can't go by that. They need to play the conditions, in my opinion. We can't just say I'm going to bat first and we need to defend anything, because it might be a road batting second. So I think tactically they just, which I assume they will, but I don't think that should be the mentality that South Africa can defend everything all the time. Would be nice.
Yeah, this is a question that we got from one of our viewers, Marina, that South Africa bowling is the key and it is better for them to bat first. We got the views from Marina, from Danny. What's your thoughts on that? I guess there's some network issue here. But then, of course, today's game, as the way it panned out, it was necessary for Pakistan to get that win under their belt. But somehow South Africa found the way out of the maze. They dominated it with their proceedings. So this was all it from the post-match show. We'll definitely catch up with you for tomorrow's game as well, for the pre, mid and post shows. Until then, you stay tuned to Women's Cricket Zone for all the updates on women's cricket.